Okay, so in the first over-the-shoulder video, really the second one, um, I had redone the report. We're focusing on lead generation, and I showed you the whole report and why I sort of switched horses, that the first report about the video thing wasn't focused enough. The lead gen thing is very, very focused and perfect for one of these little WSOs. And that was the last video. So if you missed that video, just look up above wherever you're looking at this, if you're in the members area, which I'm sure you are, or probably should be, and you'll find that video. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to write a sales letter. Now, I'm on the Warrior Forum, okay, so if you just go to warriorforum.com, you'll land here. I'm going to come all the way down here to Test Forum, okay? And this is where I design sales letters, and like I told you on the webinar, I just copy and paste them to the WSO section and submit them. So we're going to go through that whole process. So to open a new thread, it's just like on any forum. When you want to open a thread, just hit new thread. And you get an editor. Now, title. I always, virtually always entitle these $3 WSO offline lead generation, okay? Yeah, the reason I do the $3 WSO is because when you're looking at the that whole list of WSOs, before you actually click on a specific WSO, I want the $3 to get people's attention. Offline lead generation. I may change that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm 85% happy with that. It's a little dull, but that's okay. You know, the deal with these little WSOs is crank them out fast. And honestly, personally, I need to get even faster. I personally need to get to where I'm doing one of these babies a week at least. Excuse me. So let's go here, and we're going to, now when you hit submit thread, it doesn't do anything except put it on that list on the test form for me. But here, let's start doing this. We're going to need a title. Okay, I'm going to hold off on the title for a sec. And then we need an intro. Hello, fellow warriors. Now I was kind of looking, I went back over, this is the report itself. I always look back over here at the beginning of the report in the introduction because I want a matchup, and you know, I went over the way I wrote the report in the last video. So the fact that I present the problem and then solve the problem in the report, and in a sales letter you need to present the problem and solve the problem in the sales letter too. And I was just kind of looking through here and seeing if there's something I could just pull out, and this section right here is really good. So I'm going to pull this part out. Let's just copy that, and we'll just pop that right here. Let's sans serif fonts read better online, so let's change it to Arial. We'll get all the sizes correct in a little bit. Okay, I paused that while I basically took the whole gist of this story and rewrote it. Generally when I write, especially a sales letter, it's too wordy, but I've got to get it out of me where I can see it. That's the great thing about the test forum, is you can see what it's going to look like when it's actually a WSO, but I've got to get it out of me where I can see it, and then I wait a day or so and start, you know, wait a little while and start subtracting words. But anyway, this is what this is going to look like. Title, the title's probably not going to be Lead Gen Done Right. We'll get to the title in a little bit, but anyway, so we'll have a title here. That'll be big red in impact font, centered, okay? And then we got Hello Fellow Warriors. When I got into lead gen over 2 years ago, super excited. After all, how can any business owner not take you up on sending them calls? I chose about 5 city niche combinations and started. So now I'm telling the story, okay? So I'm telling the problem as a story. I'm talking about the problem of lead generation by showing the reader the problem that I had, and I'm doing that as a story, okay, which is a good way to sell stories. Stories are good ways to sell. But anyway, how can a business owner not take you up on sending them calls? So I chose about 5 city niche combinations, started building out all this stuff, went well, got traffic generated calls through my call track numbers. At this point, I got on the phone and approached local businesses about buying my leads. Like I said, I thought this was going to be a piece of cake. I was wrong. I had a very, very difficult time selling my leads to businesses. Price wasn't the issue because a lot of people read it. See, when you get better at writing sales letters, now don't worry about those, okay? But when you get better at sales letters, you'll learn to go ahead and answer common objections already. Okay, a lot of people are going to think, well, you had them overpriced. No, it didn't. Price wasn't the issue. The issue was this. Most businesses didn't understand the concept, and when people don't understand, they don't buy. Believe it or not, a great number of businesses don't want more business, and I explained that. You know, it's partially because of the economy, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So it took a lot of work, direct mail, phone calling, email, to get even one client for all the leads I created. Now I have to segue. I have to change into, I have to say, basically, I'm not sure I'm going to say this. I'll pause this and write it in a minute, but I need to say basically what happened, which is what I took a breather. I kicked back. I thought, okay, well, that sucks. I'm going to have to figure out a way to do, you know, there has to be a way to do this, and I'm pretty good at figuring stuff out, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to do this that's a lot easier. Then I'm going to say, I've written a report which shows you how I do this now, and it is much, much easier and much, much more effective than how I was doing it when I first started. And then I'm going to tell the reader what they get in the report. Okay, so, and you'll see all this. What they get in the report, give them a buy button, and we'll be done. All right. So I'm going to pause this and write some more. Okay, let's see what we got now. So, okay, so we start at the beginning of the sales letter, and basically I'm setting the story of how it's kind of like I tried, I failed, I came back, I figured out. Okay, and just in case you're wondering, this is an archetypal meme that just covers a massive amount of human thought. The I tried, I failed, I came back, I solved. Okay, if you will think about all of the movies you see, especially action movies, they're all like that. Sales letters are like that. Sales letters are I tried. A lot of sales letters are I tried, I failed. You know, I got up, I dusted myself off, I came back, I figured out. I'm sharing this with you. In a movie, it's the protagonist tries, fails, falls down 6 times, gets up 7. On the last attempt, they actually overcome, and you identify with them. So isn't it interesting? Sales letters and movies, same thing. It's a deep, deep thing in the human psyche, and we're tapping into this, and it's not hard to do once you understand the pattern. But anyway, so you got the I tried part and I failed. I was wrong. Price wasn't the issue. Blah blah blah. And I may simplify this some. We'll see. But here, I cracked the code. Okay. So this is where I cracked the code. I'll copy this and put it on a PDF and put it in the members area for you, because you can't get to. If you go to the test form, you're not going to see what I see. It's unique for the visitor. So I knew lead gen could work for me. All I do is find the right clients, kick back for a while, start thinking about the overall lead gen business model. I'm pretty good at solving problems. I've been doing this type of thing for a few years now. This is just basically personal branding here for people that don't know me. A few weeks after I'd run into the proverbial brick wall, got an inspiration on how to solve the problem, massaged my business model, tweaked a few things, rearranged some of what I was doing, and voila, my new business model worked great. I cracked the code on how to quickly and easily get recurring income streams from lead gen up and running, and today I'd like to share that knowledge with you. I mean, you've got to segue at some point from I solved the problem to I'm going to teach you the solution. So sales letters go, I had a problem, I failed. I mean, not all of them, but this is a good sales letter pattern. I had a problem, I failed, I came back, I solved, now I'm teaching you. Okay? Introducing lead generation done right. That's the name of the product. So, just underline that. Written a new report is called Lead Generation Done Right. And this report shows you everything you need to know. Specifically, here's what you'll learn in Lead Generation Done Right. Okay, so they already know that Lead Generation Done Right is where I show them. Today I'd love to share that knowledge with you. Okay, they know what they're going to learn, how to make lead gen work. Now, this next thing is a common way that when you're selling a report, okay, it's a common way of sort of giving people a feel for what's actually in the report. What I was looking at was these numbers are kind of all bunched together, so I kind of wanted to stretch it out here, but anyway. The one big reason my first business model wasn't working, my easy to implement. Now look, you see that word easy? That word needs to appear as much as it can rationally in your WSO. My easy to implement 3-step process of finding lead generation clients. Look, easy in 3 steps, okay? If you can if you can tell people that it's step by step, that this is less difficult than buying a box of pre-made brownies and making them, okay, it's 3 steps. If you can tell people that basically the level of difficulty here is the same level of difficulty as the instructions on the back of a frozen pizza box, you're good to go. Okay. My exact script. People that buy this kind of information, look in your own heart and think about what you've bought and what triggered that buying response. My exact script, okay, and this is really true. This is what I say. My exact script I use when I talk to possible clients for my lead generation business. Okay, so that now look, secret sauce. I mean, secret sauce is almost a cliche, but used right, it's a very powerful sales tool. My secret sauce that makes this whole thing go. Now watch this. I can't even tell you what it is. It's so easy and obvious. That gets back to easy, okay? But it works like gangbusters. What I do to go big when I land a new client, best places to buy phone numbers. There's more. You always got to say there's more, right? Cover all the technical details. This gets back to easy because you think the mind of the buyer. Oh, lead generation. That sounds so incredibly technical. I'm gonna have to do this and that. And I've heard that Twilio is hard to deal with, and people just make all these stupid assumptions. So you've got to undo their stupid assumptions when they're reading your sales letter, so that more of them buy. Cover all the technical details you need to get started. Because look, to get started with this method, you're going to use videos and rank videos and test the market. But I don't get into how to build an authority site, and I don't want to lie. So I say I cover all the technical details you need to get started with this method. Okay. The leads I sell, phone calls, how to get phone calls, etc. All that's covered. This is totally newbie friendly, and every WSO on the planet, you're missing the boat if you don't say that. Okay, because most of these buyers are newbies. This is totally newbie friendly. So now all we got to do, look, Look where we are. We've stated the problem in the form of a story. We've stated the solution that, now, unlike the report, I don't tell you the solution. In the sales letter, I tell you that I have a solution, right? And I'm going to sell that solution to you. And I've described the product so that they know what they're getting. See how many pages this is. Okay, 12-page report. I've written a new 12-page report. It's called Lead Generation Done Right. And this report shows you everything you need to know. Everything you need to do to start getting high-value lead gen clients for your business. Specifically, here's what you'll learn. Okay, it's all blah, blah, blah. Totally newbie friendly. So now, I got to close. I got to have a call to action. All right? I mean, you know, it's just a $3 report, right? I got to have a call to action, and it's going to be the standard. I bet you're thinking that this is going to cost more. I should be charging more. I showed this to several of my friends, and they said, "Man, you should, charge more." Blah blah blah. But because, I'm such a wonderful guy, and I know this sounds a little cynical, but we're talking about marketing here, okay? And you're learning marketing from me, so I might as well just let you in on how it works. So you say basically, but some excuse because I want to help as many people as possible, which is actually true. I want as many emails as possible because, as you guys know, the information that I sell or even give away is just incredible. So in order to help as many people as possible, blah blah blah. For a limited time, I'm only charging $3 for this report. Then I'm going to sign off. P.S. In the P.S. we'll see all this in a second. But in the P.S. I'm going to restate the whole thing. I'm going to rewrite the sales letter in about 2 sentences. In the P.P.S. we're going to say guaranteed, sure, 30 days, and that'll be it. Okay, so let's finish this. Okay, let's wrap this one up. Basically, this is where I am. I paused this and spent some time redoing some things. So I've got a title now. Okay. How I easily create streams of recurring income selling leads to businesses, and how you can too. Notice the quotes. Hello, fellow warriors. I changed the front a little bit. When I first got into lead gen, I failed miserably. I'm obviously telling a story here, but I needed a sort of a headline. Over 2 years ago, when I first started doing lead gen for local business, super excited, blah blah blah, and I talk about how I failed, blah blah blah, and then I cracked the code. Okay. And today, I'd love to share my knowledge with you. That knowledge with you, introducing Lead Gen Done Right. It's a 12-page report. Here's what's in it. Totally newbie friendly. Sounds cooly, but how much is it? Then I'm explaining why I'm only charging $3 for it. I'll set up the buy button. I'll set up the Warrior Plus listing in another video so you can see how that's done. But buy button. Cool beans, sign off. And look at the PSs. Now the first PS, other than the title, the first PS is probably the most important. Let me restate that. Other than the title, the first PS is without doubt the most important piece of copy on a sales letter. Because people generally see the title, they think, I'm interested. They scroll down to the buy button to see how much it is. And then while they're down there, they check out the PSs. Okay? And that's just the way people read. PS. Now I'm gonna use a few more colors in here. My sales letters for these things are never graphic sales letters. It's not worth spending the time or money to create a graphic sales letter for these little WSOs. They're all text-based. Lead generation done right. So now explain the whole thing in a sentence. Lead generation done right is a 12-page report that shows you my battle-tested method of easily creating income through selling phone call leads to local businesses. Isn't that what it is? It's tested in that I tried, I failed, I tried, I failed, I conquered, right? That's true. It's 12 pages, that's true. So somebody can look at that and think, oh, that's cool, I'm interested in that. It's short, I already know it's $3, and this is what it's going to do for me. The next PS is about the guarantee. Frankly, I think anybody that would refund on a $3 product is a big jerk, but, you know, what can I say? Guaranteed, sure, 30 days, no problemo. Now, next, to avoid the obvious, one of the big troll questions, you know, there are a subset of people hanging out on the Warrior Forum and the WSO section. I was going to say especially, I don't know if it's especially, but the WSO section of the Warrior Forum, who, I don't know, I guess they're just sitting around for their food stamps or something and wondering what they're going to do with their lives, because all they do is read sales letters and try to play gotcha. It's just a fact. And it's a sad fact too. It's I don't really care, you know. I mean, for me personally, it doesn't really bug me that much. You know, I'm used to it. But they read sales letters, they compare, they hem and they haw, and they try to play gotcha. They try to stir up trouble. You know, they try to. So I think psychologically, this is what is happening. They're trying to prove to themselves yet again that all this stuff is nothing more than a scam, and that is how they are justifying their own failure and their miserable feeling about themselves on the inside. I think psychologically that's pretty much what's happening. But, you know, I would rather avoid those problems if possible. It's not always possible to avoid those problems, because they're just some really pricklish people, you know, who just live to play gotcha. And, you know, sometimes you just gotta say, well, you know, screw you. And, in your heart. You don't type that in a comment. But anyway, so, you know, a lot of sales letters have income proof. I can't stand income proof. It's way too easy to fake. I'm not capable, I wouldn't fake it. I'm not even capable of faking it. I would never do that. I would rather just make a lot less sales, you know, per unit time, you know, a lot less sales, and, you know, have a honest relationship with the people on my list. But there are a lot of sales letters with income proof and stuff like that, and it works. It works psychologically to make more sales. I don't do it. You know, I have to build my house on a rock. Okay, I mean, I want these emails on my list so I can build a relationship with these people so they buy massive amounts of stuff through my link, and that's not going to work that well as it does for me. It's not going to work well if it starts out with a big fat lie. Okay? Not only that, I mean, so that would be fake income proof. I mean, I could actually dig around into my call track platform and show calls that I get for various niches, but then I would, you know, have the issue of having to blank out the niche and all that stuff, and it's just not, it's not worth it for me for a $3 WSO. I don't do it. It's not worth it. People are not going to believe how much money I make anyway. They're just not going to believe it. So I sidestepped that whole income proof issue. I really do think it's crass. I think it's just low class. So I sidestepped that whole income proof issue always in every sales letter by saying pretty much the same thing. I may or may not put it in a PS. Sometimes I put it in an FAQ. But say, why no income proof? Two reasons. One, I think it's crass, and I really do. I think this is garbage. If you can't read this sales letter, and if you can't get a feeling of the fact that I'm genuine, then you and I are not going to get along. Okay? So you just need to take a hike, go spend your money somewhere else, because you're not going to get along with me. I'm not going to benefit you, and you're not going to benefit me. It has to be a win-win. So, two reasons. One, I think it's crass, and frankly, the Federal Trade Commission, and that's just a whole nother thing. I really do not want to get into anything. You know, the FTC is cracking down, and has been for some time, and rightly so, on income proof, on the assumption, you know, like if you sold 1,000 copies of something and one person made $5,000 with it, and the other 999 made zero, and you took that one that made the $5,000, you made an example of them, then future people buying that are kind of thinking in their head, oh, this is the norm. This is the kind of thing this is going to do for me. When in point of fact, it was an outlier, right? And that's valid. I mean, it's valid for the Federal Trade Commission to be upset about that. So, yeah, Federal Trade Commission. Sorry, I had to pause to answer my phone. But I don't even want to go there. I don't want to go anywhere near there. I would rather have a whole nother way of building a business and getting leads rather than sounding too much like a late night infomercial for a bunch of reasons. One of the big ones is the Federal Trade Commission. I just don't want to set myself up for some kind of issue later on. So I avoid. I haven't always avoided income proof, but a couple of years ago I decided to start avoiding it. And now I pretty much just avoid it. Except in certain specific situations, like on the webinar you were with me on. See, you already had a relationship with me on the webinar that kicked off this course. You already had that relationship with me. I mean, I remember when I showed you some income stuff, and I said, I kind of like pulled back, and I said, I know that a lot of people, I kind of hesitated about it, and I really did. I know a lot of people are not necessarily going to believe this, and somebody typed into the chat, actually it was more than one person, said, yeah, but we know you, and we know that this is the God's honest truth. See, and thank you so much for that. If you are the person who, or one of the people who typed that kind of thing in, I appreciate that. That was very moving to me. But my point is, it was okay to do that because I already built the relationship with the people on the webinar, because you already came from my list. You already had an experience with me. But when we get out into Joe and Jane Q Public, they don't know me from Adam. So I take the whole income thing off the table. Okay, and I would suggest you do too, because it's better business, it's more ethical business. I very rarely tell people what to do, but I'm kind of sort of telling you what to do here. It's better business, it's more ethical business. It may seem like you're getting fewer sales, and you may indeed get fewer sales, but you're going to be building your house on a rock instead of on sand, so I would suggest you do that. So anyway, enough said about that. What needs to happen next, we're still on the test form. What needs to happen next is I need to just sort of let this baby sit. Look at it tomorrow and clean it up some. It's too wordy. Use a few more colors, and you'll see it once I actually launch it, which hopefully will be sometime this weekend, maybe Saturday. I'm not sure. Use a few more colors. Fix the buy button, and I'll go inside Warrior Plus and show you how to do that on the next video. But put the buy buttons in here and get this all sort of spiffed up. Then all we're going to do is go edit up here, click that, copy this, take it over to the WSO section, start a new thread, pop it in there, check it to make sure it's right, and then send it in. The moderators look at it, they send you a PM that says you've been approved, you pay $40, you're good to go. Okay, so that's what happens next.